Welcome to The Incredibobs. The movie starts with superhero interviews. Now, let's explain some characters and their powers. Bob is super strong, and that's about it. Miss Thickums is super stretchy and elasticy, kind of straight to the point. Violet is the daughter, and she turns invisible and has some sort of Area 51 force field that she just conjures up whenever she feels like it. 100-yard dash pass is super quick and just runs.
Want to see me run to that mountain and back? You want to see me do it again?
Jack is a baby and doesn't show any sort of powers in the beginning of the film, but he is pretty much Ben 10. Samuel L. Jackson is a little ice wizard and turns air particles to ice. Pretty straightforward again. Anyways, Incredibob is stopped by an old lady that has her cat stuck in a tree. Meanwhile, a car chase is going on with bullets that do 0 damage. I know he has super strength, but why couldn't he just jump up and do some hero moves and grab the cat from the tree instead of uprooting literally the entire thing? Also, not a tree expert, but where the hell are the roots? That is a big ass tree. Anyways, he saves the cat and stops the chase with the tree. Again, I'm no tree expert, but there is no way you can just slam a tree back into the ground. You're not going to convince me. After that, this whale penis of a child that calls himself
Incrediboy
uses level 100 sneak and gets into Mr. Incredible's car without him knowing. But he decides to inject Buddy from his rocket-powered Tesla because Buddy has no powers and pretty useless. So, Mr. Incredible pulls up on another robber and is surprised to meet the sex icon that is Elastic Girl, or Miss Thickness herself. If you watched this movie as a kid and didn't want her to choke you to death, I don't know if you saw the same movie. They flirt with each other, then go their separate ways. He sees a man about to take his life and decides,
I still got time!
For the third time. He saves that man by jumping across a building, diving through the glass, and catching him into yet another crime being committed by Mr. Baguette himself, or this city literally sounds like Gotham at this point.
Hell no, man. What the
Retarded boy shows up uninvited and uses his little rocket boots that he can hardly control and spoils Mr. Baguette's plans.
I'll go get the police.
The cops are already at the bottom of the fucking building. As he tries to mess everything up, which he's doing a good job, he is stuck with a bomb from Mr. Baguette. Bob sees the bomb and tries to save the kid, but ends up blowing up train tracks, so yet again another problem installed, and he has to stop it like Spider-Man. Damn, Bob, I didn't know you were built like a Tonka truck. He then tells the cops to take Buddy home after almost becoming a terrorist himself. Mr. Baguette ended up getting away.
got away?
Well, yeah.
Because Buddy's Evel Knievel stunt. Mr. Incredible has some words back and forth with Buddy, then he dusts off in his cracked out Tesla. Bobby Boucher pulls up to the church for his marriage that turns out to be the Mrs. Thick Goddess herself. Right after the wedding, it turns out that he's being sued because the butthole man that he just saved wanted to die. That is literally the most American thing possible. The whole world turns into raging asses and runs all of the heroes into hiding. But anyways, cut to Bob being fat, working a desk job that he clearly hates with 3 kids back home. Bob works for a little imp man, crazy because he could honestly pop the guy like a fucking pimple. Anyways, he seems ready to slit his wrist with boat propellers at this point and has a crash out of the century in his driveway, which can't really blame the guy because he's stuck in the stupid rat race. Cut to the family eating dinner where, in normal mom fashion, she throws Dash under the bus for getting in trouble at school, but Bob just gets hyped at Dash for using his powers and not being caught and also not being a boring little loser of a son. Bob is all espresso depresso and storms away. Helen asks, what's wrong? You haven't eaten your meatloaf. I'm not hungry for meatloaf. Dash adds she's looking for a different type of meat. The kids break out into an all-out fight with Dash slapping the ever-living shit out of Violet repeatedly. Now they're all using their powers and whatnot. Someone knocks. They go to answer the door. Turns out to be a black man, but it's just Samuel L. Jackson himself. The boys are going out for
Bowling night.
bowling is code for sneak around behind their families' backs and acting like heroes again. Waiting for calls to come in.
A fire. We're close. Yeah, baby!
They have a close call and smash into the next building, end up saving a bunch of people. It turns out to be a jewelry store, and cops show up. Samuel L. Jackson needs a little slurp. Side note, if this was real, there's no way the cops would not have turned Rozo into Swiss cheese like 5 times over again for moving even an inch. There's just no way. But the cop is now frozen, and they get away and head home. Bob gets home from his midnight affairs in classic dad fashion, slams a fat piece of cake, which is probably one of the best pieces of cake I've ever seen in a movie. He gets caught red-handed by Helen, who yells at him for fighting crime. Kids hear them. They keep talking. Boring. Skip. Bob sees a robbery happening in the distance, and his little imp of a boss stops him and pisses off Macho Man. Bob practically dislocates his neck and throws him through 4 walls. And again, there is no way that this would not have killed the guy, and this only results in injury. The guy's 4'10" and just got chucked through 4 full-on walls. No way you would be even breathing after this point. But I digress. Mr. Men in Black shows up to clean everything up. I can't keep doing this for you. Come on. I know how big your budget is. We're broke, and you're on your own. Bye. Bye. Bob heads home and finds the package, so he opens it and finds the first version of a Kindle to scan his face. The tablet gives him a mission that claims he can become a winner chicken dinner. So white hair girl shits on him a little bit and says he doesn't have to remain a loser and dips. Bobby knows if you're not first, you're last and takes the mission. The Kindle then self-destructs and sets off the sprinklers. And at this point, I'm wondering, how in the world do you bullshit your way out of setting the sprinklers off to your wife? What do you even say?
The company is sending me to a conference.
In reality, he is getting sent off to an island to do superhero shit. Snowball briefs him on his mission to go destroy the testicle with arms and a brain. His fat ass gets stuck in a little pod blasty thingy, but he ends up making it. He runs into a magic 8-ball. They have a good old tussle, fall down into some lava. Mr. Incredible pops his back. He's an old man and out of shape, but the testicle realigns him and ends up smashing itself, making Bobby the winner. Snow Bunny and the boss are impressed by him and invite him back to dinner. Someone please at this point tell me what is the reason he's wearing a mask at the dinner. What identity is he covering? They talk and she tells him how horny lava makes her and sends him home. Bob then has a compilation of him being happy and motivated. He is lifting up heavy shit with his newfound testosterone, spending more time with his family, his kids, blasting his wife. Dude, imagine the Elastigirl pussy and all the possibilities of that newfound world. Bob has to go on another job. First needs his old suit fixed, so he goes to his suit maker Edna. She decides to go all out and make him another suit as long as there's no cape.
No capes.
Helen finds another woman's hair on his suit and isn't happy, but Helen finds another woman's hair on his suit and isn't happy, but oh my god. Helen finds another woman's hair on his suit and isn't happy, but Bob dips for another mission, which his wife still believes is insurance trips. Those mimosas look like they slap harder than a drunk stepdad. Bob is getting treated like a president, good food, good drink, good places to stay, until he is tricked into a meeting and is then grabbed by an even bigger, stronger testicle bot that is then revealed to be controlled by his biggest fan, Buddy. Buddy now goes by Down syndrome. He has a laser finger that he uses on Mr. Incredible, but then he accidentally flicks him away because he's being a cocky little bastard. Mr. Incredible proceeds to jump off the waterfall to escape, so Down syndrome drops a bomb. He then sends in literally the worst recon drone that I've ever seen to see if he survives, but he hides behind Gazer Boy, which is literally just a rock and a skeleton. There's absolutely no way this recon drone would not have been able to find him.
Life rating negative. Mr. Incredible terminated.
But I digress once again. Back to the movie. Helen pays a visit to Edna and is surprised to see Edna has made suits for the entire family. Edna discloses that all the suits have a tracking device so you can find out what Bob is really up to. Back to our boy Bobby. He takes a leap of faith onto a transport vehicle and just bypasses all the super duper shitty security. Like, where the actual fuck are the cameras? How does nobody see a red Hulk just running around this compound? But Bob is now facing the big ass lava curtain and he picks up big gum gum bum bum, and Snowball walks through, doesn't realize him because she is distracted playing Clash of Clans. How is she walking through next to all this lava without even a drop of sweat? Like, that has to be so fucking unbelievably hot. But she leaves it open. Bob then runs through the opening and gets into the room with a fat ass scream. Bob finds out Down syndrome has been hunting all the remaining heroes and picking them off one by one until they got to him. It is revealed that there is a plan to send the big meatball to the city and cause some ruckus. But when he tries to leave, his suit's homing device is activated and it makes the big black ball blasters start up and my god. Big black ball blasters start up and blast his ass. And in all fairness, there's no possible way he should have even made it this far. Helen is home with all the suits and tells the kids that she is leaving for a trip, so don't die. But Dash Flash Pass finds the suits and steals them, so mom just gives up and tells the kids to fuck off. She calls up Trollface and asks him for a jet. She asks permission to land on the island, but no one answers her, and all she gets is, what is the major malfunction? And decides to go into autopilot so she can put on her suit. And again, I'm not a pilot, but I highly doubt autopilot is just one button away and then you can just dip out. But again, I have no idea what I'm talking about 90% of the time. After suiting up, she realizes her kids have snuck onto the plane and left Flapjack with a babysitter that looks like the girl from Nemo. Before she can really say anything to her kids, they are shot at by missiles, and while she tries to shake the missiles, Violet tries to put up a force field, but both are unsuccessful and they end up getting shot down. When the missiles hit, Mysticness herself wraps around the kids and they all safely parachute down to the water. They realize the missiles left a trail to the island and decide to go after it. Helen turns herself into a boat and Dash acts as the motor for the boat. Dash motorboats his mom, and there's nothing wrong with the words that just came out of my mouth because it is indeed exactly what happened. You are watching the same movie I am. Meanwhile, all of that is going on. Down syndrome has Bob held captive in an electronical thingamabob and is questioning him.
All right, who did you contact?
Contact? What are you talking about?
He has no idea because he doesn't even know about the homing beacon in his suit. So to tickle his balls, he plays the recording from the plane, and it turns out to be his family. Bob's all pissed off now. Brah, I'm gonna rip you out. Tries to grab him, but ends up grabbing Snow White instead. They have a little back and forth about breaking her back in. I dare you. I double dog dare you. Do it. You won't. No balls. Our boy Bob let her go because he just isn't that type of guy. Helen and her kids arrive at the island and set up a camp in a cave. She's all like, I'm gonna go save your dad, but your identity is the most important thing you have, and hands them masks. These masks are not protecting them from shit. It's like putting a pair of sunglasses on so people won't recognize you. But, you know, it's a kid's movie. Thickness runs off and leaves the kids in the cave, but they have to evacuate shortly because Dingleberry shoots off a rocket with a meatball attached to it, heading straight for the city. The exhaust from the rocket blows out of the cave and makes the kids get out. Meanwhile, Helen sneaks into the facility, sees the big meatball, checks herself out in the mirror, and like, this shit would have me on all four barking if I saw a girl like that. Lord have mercy. Focus. Come back to it. She then proceeds to get stuck in not one, not two, but three doors. The first guard sees her leg stuck in the door, and instead of alerting anyone and trying to do anything about it, they just try to handle it themselves. The first gets kicked like a horse and ends up freeing Thunderthigh's ultimate ability, knocking out the other two guards. She packs him up like a school lunch and slams him into a locker. She keeps moving and finds a security room with all the camera feeds so she can find Bob. While Helen doing a thing, the kids have a huge time jump and wake up in the morning to a screeching government surveillance bird. Snowball gets pissed at Down syndrome for playing with her life and decides to free our boy Bob. Tells him his family is still kicking. Bob goes from choking the hoe to hugging her, and of course the real baddie enters and gets pissed. But Bob don't care. He sucks her arms in like a noodle. We all know Bob is not giving up that elastic pussy for a goddamn thing. But carrying on. The kids are now being chased by NPCs riding Beyblades. Violet just disappears and 100-yard dash takes off. So much shit happens on Two Leads to break it all down, so I will say 100-yard dash gets zoomies and ends up running on water to get away while Violet goes all disappears. They team up in a hamster ball until they run into their entire family, strike some poses, blah blah blah. Bob and Helen get all horny watching each other fight, which that's some true love right there. Peanut Man shows up, zaps him with his finger, and captures them all. He then takes them back to his base and has them all strung up like wet clothes in his little zapper thingy mabobber. He explains his evil plan, which is to send over his meatball, have it terrorize the city before he flies over with his cheat codes and takes it down and saving the day. Skips off like a little boy and leaves the family all alone. That's a great idea. Don't check the kid powers, just leave them. Don't even worry about them. Doesn't matter. Whatever. Bob starts sulking as Violet just roly-polies out of that bitch and frees everyone. So now the entire family is trying to make their way back to the city so they can help and stop the meatball. Everyone is all happy and cheering for evil destruction, but Snowball sees the family running in the cameras. So this is the part. There are cameras in this movie. I don't understand how all of these characters, this entire movie has been able to avoid all of these cameras. No. People in the city are getting fucked up. So Down syndrome comes to save the day, slaps the meatball a little bit, but then he's just using his cheat codes like a little chump. This dumbass programmed the ball of meat with AI, so it ends up shooting the cheat codes off his wrist and make him crash into a building and gets knocked out. It then cuts to the family flying in on a rocket camper, launching themselves off the rocket and crash landing in the RV, and somehow it does not break after dropping that thing like 500 fucking feet out of the sky. Out of literally everything in this movie, the RV landing, driving, rolling to a stop, and still not being completely disintegrated, no. Whoever made that camper, hell, dude, give him a fucking contract. Fast forward through the whole fight, some cool stuff happens, blah, 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 blah. Bob plays catch with his son, Dash, by throwing him the cheat code. Samuel L. Jackson's helps Dash. They press a bunch of buttons. Bob was grabbed up by a claw. They find the cheat code. They release Bob from the claw. Then they remember that the only thing that can damage the meatball is the meat itself. Bob picks up the claw and they realize they can control it. So the family gets together for one last attempt to take it down and blast the claw straight through the center. They all save the day and people are happy to have heroes around again. So yippee, yippee, celebration. Woohoo. Meanwhile, Helen is freaking out because she gets a call from the babysitter thanking her for hiring a new sitter.
Replacement? I didn't call a replacement.
So they all rush home to find this insufferable asshole holding Jack and threatening to take him, which he ends up doing. Down syndrome gets attacked by fire, steel, and goblin mode Jack, which that's where I told you he's Ben 10. So Down syndrome drops Jack. Bob then throws Helen in the air like a paper airplane, proceeds to chuck his car at the jet, making Down syndrome get sucked up by his cape. And this is where Edna came in.
Knock it!
Skip forward, Dash is playing sports while Violet is getting a piece of that honey meat. Mr. Mole Man, or the underminer Mole Man, digs up ground and they set up Mr. Mole Man digs up the ground and they suit up in the parking lot. So at this point there is absolutely no fucking reason to have secret identity anymore, and that is the movie. Yay, I hope you enjoyed it. Yippee yippee. That is the Incredibobs, the Bobs of all Incredibles. Wow, 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 wow. I give this movie a solid 7 out of 3 quantum ducks in a trench coat. Thank you for watching the video.